Okay.
You have one, you wear one every other day or
Right, something like that.
every other day? That's good.
Buster?
This meeting of the Mayor and Board of Aldermen for the City of Cleveland is now in session. Anyone that has business before this board, please come forward or speak up. It'll be heard.
Reverend, I don't want to put you on the spot, but we very seldom have a preacher here with us. So would you open our meeting with prayer, please? Would you give your name first? He just,
Hi, I'm Philip Rose, and I'll be glad to do that. Can
okay.
I say a few words to introduce myself? or-
Please, just tell us about you.
Later.
No, you can do that now.
I'm new in town. I just wanted to, I'm meeting people and learning the city. And about 2 months, I work with United Pentecostals of Cleveland. And just met Mayor today, met Mr. Abraham a few days ago, a couple of weeks ago. And just learning my town, learning my way. I want to say this is the friendliest town probably I've ever lived in my whole life.
Thank you. Glad to have you. Thank you. Glad to have you.
If you would open us with prayer.
Thank you, Father, for your goodness. Thank you, Lord, for every blessing. Pray for wisdom, for direction, for understanding. Bless these ladies and gentlemen as they work for the good of the city. We ask it in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Great job.
Thank you.
Welcome to Cleveland. Okay, we'll start with public hearings.
This will be our read off. 504 South LaFleur Avenue, Charlotte W. Brittany N. Aaron Dean, 104 Delta Street, Felicia Moore, 306 Bowling Avenue, E.M. Parker, 1107 North Yale Street, Bo Williams Properties LLC, 203 Martin Luther King Drive, Restoration Delta LLC, 706 South Fifth Avenue, Martin T. King Jr., care of Virginia King Myers, 106 Belvedere Court, Ajax J. Morris Jr., 1005 South Third Avenue, Al E. and Melanie T. Williams, 316 North Davis Avenue, Suite A, E, and F, Summit Development LLC, care of Charles Brock, 825 Jackson Street, Doris Hutton. Your second page, 217 North Third Avenue, Bailey Investments LLC, 1811 Southland Drive, Jimmy Lee Turner, Cordell L. and Sherman Thigpen, 1826 Cowan Drive, Ronald Nichols, 935 Pearl Avenue, Delta Investments Limited, Urban Management. Property. 7Y Investments LLC, 604 South Victoria Avenue, Linda M. Lovett. Mr. Trotter, is anybody here requested extension or?
No, some of those you called out need to be removed.
Mayor King gets.
Yeah, any-
There are quite a few of them.
Okay, yeah.
Would be in order for you to adjudicate with the exception of those marked to remove.
So move.
Gary, Ted, all in favor, say aye. Need to get with Billy, you know which ones need to be removed.
Yes.
It says, they just aren't highlighted this time.
Highlight this.
It's highlighted. I just read the regular.
Okay, all right.
The other one, public hearing.
Yeah.
We also have a public hearing for Marcia House's residents right down the street from where I live on Bolivar and from Alderman Foval. Their house, y'all saw a large tree fell over their shop, their garage during the storms we had in the spring. And because it was totally demolished, they need approval for a side yard setback.
She's my constituent. I make that motion.
Made the most. Danny
No
second.
objections for it.
And then have there been any objections?
Only letters of support.
Right, and it's down the street from me. I do as well.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, you oppose, okay.
Okay, and the next one on from Connie McClellan, that may be we've already covered that adjudication.
Connie Mitchell.
Connie Mitchell.
Connie Mitchell.
She's here. She is on Zoom. Connie Green.
Okay,
Billy might be able to speak to that.
Yeah, this property is you know, Alderman Sanders with it, one by George Tucker Mother's house that
Yeah.
Wayne Little used to own.
Right.
And we've been sending to this address since 2017. This is the first time that someone has ever, we got ready to demolish it this fiscal year. for the budget in, and someone came forth, one adjudication, but it was, one of the extension, but it was adjudicated back in July. So when she got the letter for the reentry, the due process we did, on Friday, she contacted us and wanted to come before the mayor and board and speak in, wanted to be heard, so she wanted to feel our decision about that property. She said it could be saved. The courthouse have it listed as $2,025, was $2,050.
2250.
So the 50% rule, she only could use $1,025 to repair it, and she said that it could be saved, so she wanted you all to listen to her side of the story.
Is she here now on Zoom?
I think she's on Zoom.
Ms.
Okay,
Mitchell?
Yes, I'm on Zoom.
okay, you got the floor, Ms. Mitchell.
Hi, as they said, my name is Connie Mitchell. I am a descendant of the person that owned this property. And when I took over paying taxes, I was told from someone at the courthouse that no one person can own the property because it is heir property. Mississippi law states that it is heir property. And I understood that. I was the one that was paying the taxes after my cousin told me he got behind, and I took it over. The letters were being sent to another cousin's residence because I live in Chicago. And each time a letter would come, she wouldn't disclose fully what was on there besides saying that the rubbish and that kind of stuff needed to be picked up. That's what I continued to do. And I've been paying from up here to cut the grass and stuff. And we had funerals and stuff that came, and I know there's no concern about this, but me and my mom was scheduled to come back in October because she wants to have the house rebuilt to save it, to keep it in the family. I understand what you guys are saying, that it looks bad, but I did have it boarded up, and I tried to make sure that whenever I come to town, which I was there 3 times in July, trying to go by there and check the status of the house. Not once did I get the letter saying that total demolish or whatever you guys are talking about doing, but I do understand the process. So my mom asked me to see if I can just get an extension until we come there in October. And if your findings is what you say in October, then we have to go along with that.
Ms. Mitchell,
Yes.
let me ask this question. Why haven't there been something done prior to? Is there anyone else could have looked at this property?
Do you know what the heir property law is? They've been looking at it, but the minute one person wants to touch it, they start screaming. It's heir property. It don't belong to just one person.
No, we're talking about the upkeep. I'm not talking about what.
That's what I'm saying with the upkeep. They have we got stuff on the inside of the house. And one family member said if we touch it, he was gonna burn it to the ground.
Oh, my goodness.
Because he said
It
it didn't
wouldn't take
belong to me.
long.
A good wind might do it.
Yeah,
Here, that's
it's
just
long for it to burn.
Yeah,
I would just say we give a certain limited number of days.
well, the October date sounds like a reasonable time.
What's she wanting to do in October?
We're coming down physically to assess
get a
it
building
again to
permit.
see.
Time out. Can you give us the valuation and the repair cost again?
The valuation of the property is listed at $2,250, so the repair cannot exceed $1,125.
How can this house be inhabitable?
You can't.
It has no windows, the doors are boarded up. The fire department can't approve this
At least
thing.
$40,000 or $50,000 remake. Minimum.
She'd have to have, Mayor, you'd have to have a building permit for say $50,000 or maybe 100. And,
Would exceed.
but she's not gonna be able to do that because the house will fall in as soon as they start working on it.
Yeah, sounds that way. Lot ought to be worth a little bit, but
That's worth the house.
a lot's worth a
Lots,
lot.
babe.
We've walked through the house. We've been inside. The inside is intact. It's just what you see along the outside. And unless somebody goes on the inside with me, I beg to differ, but I'm asking just to give me until October when I can make it to town.
Okay, and you will go,
Time out.
Yeah.
Can somebody else look at it? We got a meeting in 2 weeks. Can somebody else look at it within 2 weeks?
You get some estimated repair costs? What you're asking?
To bring it up, yeah, I want to know what it's going to cost to bring it up to a living standard.
And how long it would take?
Yeah. Ma'am,
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm
I'm here.
asking, can somebody look at that for you in the next 2 weeks?
2 weeks is not possible for me. I don't know about my mother. She lives downstate from me, so I have to get her on the phone and ask, can we find somebody to do this within 2 weeks?
Ain't nobody living
I
there.
know we planned October because that's when I can take off work.
Still exceeds the 50% rule.
It ain't gonna pass in October.
Yeah.
Let's just let her do it. It's been this long.
Okay, the October meeting is October the 1st to 2nd, I think. It's
804 Beaman Drive.
You want to ask her to come to our meeting and discuss it with us then?
Yeah, when you say October,
Third.
October 3rd, will you be here before October 3rd, Ms. Mitchell?
No, it's the next holiday in October, what, Columbus Day? That's the one I can be there for.
Well, we just can't postpone a hearing after we've had process.
And
We
I
don't do all
understand, but
this.
like I'm saying, I was never notified of it being
Right.
this far gone. We would have acted on this a long time ago.
Well,
That's your second meeting in October.
What date is that?
Would be
18th.
October 18th.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rob.
I was gonna say,
That's your-
there's one last thing, since it sits in my ward, I'm gonna ask my colleagues to try and see if we can let you be honored with that request, but there has to be something done. We're not gonna continue to allow that to be an eyesore. I just want to let you know that now.
So
I
October,
understand that. I don't want it to be an eyesore. We did not want it to be left like that. And
Right.
and if they would just stop fighting with us, we can
we'll
get it.
there.
Well, that's something that you all gonna have to work out, but at the same time, we don't want to get in that situation. We want to try to make sure we work with you and get that property up front.
Yes, sir. And I want to do that.
Okay, so you want to make a motion, October 18th is,
Someone is,
If it's okay with you,
that's fine.
But October 18th, she's got to come with a plan.
yes, gotta be a plan.
We have a meeting
Okay.
October the 18th, that morning,
yeah, 8:30.
at 8:30 in the morning.
okay.
I'll second the motion.
With Ted second.
Oh, he did. I'm sorry.
For the comment,
Right.
she needs to supply
On the phone.
Tyler with all of her plans before that meeting,
Good idea.
because
Yeah.
he needs to be able to look at it, and sure the city needs to be able to.
Mayor.
Right. Ms. Mitchell?
No,
Yes,
Miss
yes.
Zena is asking to speak.
Oh, I didn't know. Okay, Zane, go ahead there.
Miss Mitchell,
Yes, ma'am.
why, you have family members here in Cleveland. Why is it that you have not been able to communicate with them to
You
get
don't need to
these?
get it there.
No, we can't.
County disagreed on everything.
A lot of families that agree to disagree on everything, so.
I'm related to all of Cleveland, and it's sad to say that, but the little side of my family is the hardest one that we are dealing with, the descendants of Mr. Henry Little Senior. So there's some who's agreeing with me, and then there's some who's not.
Okay,
I call the question because we got.
yeah, we got to move on. October 18th,
October 18th.
Yeah.
yes, and
8:30.
if you will, what did you say, Kirk, about?
Supply Mr. Trotter with her plans and her
Estimates.
estimates and be ready to buy a building permit.
Okay.
So will you get with Mr. Trotter on that, Ms. Mitchell?
Yeah, can someone send me that in writing so I make sure I have exactly what you're asking for? I don't want
You
to
got her
miss no
address?
step.
Billy,
I think Michelle has, I get it from.
And if you'll communicate that to him,
all right, you'll get that information in the morning.
Okay.
Robert,
Robert,
yeah,
Robert, dude.
you got it.
Need to vote on it or anything?
I vote aye.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Thank you.
All right, okay.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have to, okay, the budget?
There we go.
Yes, so you guys, as far as the public hearing for the budget, I'm not
Yeah.
sure if there is anyone in person that has any comments about the budget. We didn't receive any requests for Zoom.
Okay, so we need to vote on that.
Yeah, hey, Dominique,
Yes,
No, we-
we didn't make any changes for that boom truck.
we
don't-
just took it
Where
out.
is it? Where
No,
did-
no.
Where did it end up in the budget?
So we took it out of the bond. We're not approving the budget tonight. We're gonna approve
Okay,
it next
That's the
Tuesday.
13th.
Gotcha.
Because I know,
Hearing, so-
Okay, all right.
yeah, so once we
Okay,
get
I make
to
that-
my section,
Okay.
once we get to my section of the agenda, we
We've
do
got
have
those
some
figures.
information from Arrow regarding that. So we haven't put it in the budget, or at least the lease for
I
trucks.
thought we were going to.
We haven't put that in the budget yet.
Release it.
We gotta talk.
If it's appropriate, I move to close the hearing.
Sarah.
All right, we're now got a motion to close the hearing. Second, Danny, all in favor, say aye. Okay.
Good.
All right, engineering. I think we have Clinton tonight.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, board. Just a couple quick updates we got on projects we got under construction. The big ones, the wastewater treatment plant, they are moving quite along. They did have some setbacks with the rain, but they should be finishing up with the lagoons here in the next couple of weeks. And we do have the spray fields ongoing, as well as the electrical working out there. The other updates, North Street drainage, the contractor is mobilizing this week. So they will begin work on there. So as is the same for Baxter Water Well. They'll be starting this month as well. The next thing is a street project. As you've seen, they've had work going on throughout the city, and they are finishing up with MOK now and should be open here the next couple of days. And then also City Hall, the project will, the contractor will be mobilizing, was it next Monday? They'll be starting next Monday doing the renovations. And then the one last thing I got is the drainage project off of Frederick between Conrad and Holman. We were helping out doing taking quotes for bids and everything for a little drainage project over there. And we got 2 quotes, and we were going to just doing a little swell and an inlet, and we were just recommending that to award to the low bidder.
Okay. Bert.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, Mr. Mayor, on the airport grocery road that was on his report, I believe they're concluding a contract with Joe Reed and Company under our MOU with Air Repair. When you issue the notice to proceed to the contractor, we need to furnish Mr. Jones a copy of that notice to proceed under our MOU. That's when he'll make his pay his part of that deal to the city. So
let's go.
That's coming up soon, but I just
we need approval on that small project that you brought up too.
Anyway, that's all.
And he made the motion. Robert second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Also, Clinton, do you have the approval for the deal we're working with South Delta on for me to sign tonight? Did you have that in your report?
Yes, sir, I do as well. We are working with numerous towns around the Delta here and Bolivar County, and with the city of Cleveland, trying to get some projects for the ARPA money, and it's mainly just water and sewer projects.
And South Delta's handling that for us.
So we need to,
We need to get approval.
for the resolution.
Yeah, for the resolution, if we could. Kirk made the motion.
Second.
Gary second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, what else, Clint?
One more thing.
All right, Gary.
Clanton,
Yes, sir.
I've made this block a couple of times in the last week. And when are we going to put some arrows on the street to get people a little bit more, I guess just to get them to where they understand this one-way traffic just a little bit better?
And when are we going to remove the barricades?
That's something we can look into. We'll work with Steve-O about putting some signage out, with even about taking the barricades down. We did talk about putting some more signage up saying do not enter. So that's something we could also look into.
Yeah, well, we have a
trying to
couple of
get more
places where we actually have arrows, but there's some places where we need them on the ground where they're very distinct.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we can. What locations were you thinking about?
Well, it's right here leaving City Hall.
Yes, sir.
From here to the chamber, you actually got two-way traffic. I ain't quite figured that one out yet. Because we're one way on Sharp all the way down. That one's fine.
I kind of like
This little section right here.
they keep me from making that turn.
They don't keep everybody from making.
Kurt said leave the blockade up for him.
Whoa.
But yeah, we can definitely take a
Yeah,
look.
if y'all would just look at it, we just need some distinct marking.
Yes,
Yeah,
we can definitely take a look
With
at
50 nights of lights coming up, we need it sooner than later.
that.
Thanks,
There's
Clint.
gonna be a lot of confusion with all that.
Be another two that far.
Okay, that all with Clinton?
Did you need approval of the lowest and best bid on the drainage improvement project?
We got that.
We got 'em.
We got it.
Okay.
All right, I guess we'll go to city attorney.
Consent agenda is before you. Needs a motion and second to approve.
Second.
Ron, Ted, all in favor, say aye. Okay.
And then next in your packet, from Katie, what we've done is you've got a public arts committee that you've made appointments to, and they've been meeting. I've met with them once as well. But what they're doing needs to be reduced to a formal ordinance. And so we've taken everything that they have and put it into ordinance form. And that way, when somebody comes in and is making an application to put in a mural, they go through those guidelines. And so it's there before you to adopt as an ordinance. It's no real change over what you did as a guideline.
So moved.
Second.
Gary, Danny, all in favor, say aye. Okay,
You also have the approval of the actual application. She included that as well as a
she did,
separate item.
that's right.
So moved.
Okay, Danny.
Second.
Ryan, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, in executive session?
I don't know. I do not, but
I don't have it.
Okay, we'll see as we go here. All right. Okay, Mr. Trotter.
I have, on the planning commission, Ms. Shonda Williams has submitted an application for a business at 306B Parkman Street. That's right beside Triple C T-shirts, Clint Williams. And she wanted to do IV hydration business. Went to the planning commission and they made a recommendation to the mayor and board to, approve advertising at the discretion of the mayor and board. It got to be advertised for special exception. That zone did allow medical use till we had medical cannabis, so we had to take it out and only allow that type of use by special exception only, but we can review applications.
Okay, now where was it again?
It's right up there on by Backyard Burgers.
That backyard, that little gray
Backyard burger.
Backyard burger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
between the daycare and backyard burger.
Right. Talking about that old restaurant.
No, it's not the restaurant. It's a little thing next to it.
See T-shirts right
Kids
there.
corner or something like that.
Yeah, with the kids.
Be there at one time.
Yeah, kids used to go to.
Mr. Trotter, what type of business you see?
IV hydration. She's a nurse
Yeah, she's a
practitioner.
nurse practitioner.
And it's supposed to be so when you get, I guess, you come in off of hangover, whatever they call it, whatever.
I know, but you know what they call it. That's called the preachers here.
Oh, okay, I got you now.
Hydrated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're jogging down the road, Danny, you can whoop in there and get you.
it's popular with the firemen. I don't know if that's because you're dehydrated from the heat.
Right.
Yeah, we need that.
Needs to have to go to the emergency room, doesn't it?
So
She's a nurse practitioner. She have a shop.
Robert made the motion.
Second. May I ask a question though, real quick?
Yeah.
Could you explain to me what you said? I had a hard time about the zoning. At one time, there used to be a medical.
Medical use was allowed in M1 zoning, but since we redid the ordinance for the medical cannabis, we only allow now by special exception. So we have to go and hear case by case basis. Well, she's not dealing with medical cannabis, but she's a medical facility.
Got to get approval.
We have to advertise.
Okay, this would be my only concern. All right, if we change it to this and a medical marijuana wanted to move in there, could they?
Her business.
It terminates if she sells it.
It's for her own.
You're rezoning it.
No, you're.
Special exception.
Special exception, which is just a use.
Okay.
I'm just saying, when you rezone something.
But there's a daycare around the corner.
It's a daycare right next to it. That's the reason I'm asking the question.
Well, and so they can't put one there.
I'm not saying no, I just want to understand.
Wouldn't be able to allow it anyway under state law. But just granting a special use, a special exception is just for that use.
If she closes her doors, then it ends.
Yes.
That's all I'm.
Better put.
Okay.
Better put.
Okay, I'm good now.
Do we have a
Yes.
first?
Robert,
Motion and a second.
motion, Ted, second, all in favor, say aye. All right, what else, Billy?
That's all I had. That'll come back next month for public hearing. That's all I have for planning commission.
Okay, what about community development?
In development, I have Charles Shine Sizemore. The contract election board made a recommendation for him to fill the unexpired term of Stephen Chudy. Stephen
Motion.
resigned and
Okay,
they had a
So move.
Second.
okay. Gary made a motion, Brian second, all in favor, say aye.
and you all have my monthly report and that's all.
Okay, any questions of Billy?
No, I was just interested to see that it was $9 million worth of new construction. I thought that was pretty impressive.
That is a very.
Is that the,
This fiscal year.
have they picked up on the fueling center on 61 North? Yeah.
They hadn't got the contract yet. They hadn't paid the permit.
Hadn't got the contract.
They sent out bids.
I got you. Good.
I mean, this is just stuff that's already been, this is stuff that's already been permitted and most of it's been built.
Good job, Billy.
This is a huge addition
Also, that
to it.
little right of way right there on South Street where Wendy's used to be, our old Wendy's.
Mhm.
And I hope they can get it
I
cut.
contacted someone today. They just paid some assessments and
They did.
I didn't want to assess them again and so I did contact the property owner today and he's gonna get someone over this week.
Okay. All right, Anna,
Hey,
Railroad Museum.
How are y'all? I'm not gonna be as fun as Mr. Trotter. So
Okay.
we're doing good. If y'all need anything from me, just let me know.
You just keep up the good work.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Buster?
The only thing that we have besides our report is to get approval on an active shooter policy for the police department, based on some of the things that's gone on in this country last few months and years. Our officers receive alert training for active shooter events, and we just felt like it was good to have a policy that they could refer back to and keep fresh in their mind on how we respond to active shooter events.
Okay.
I totally agree.
Do we need a motion on that?
Yes, yes, sir. I make.
Robert made the motion. Brian second. All in favor, say aye.
I have a quick question, Chief, and I assume the big chief, like that, he look like he's pretty curious about something, but I don't. But look, so I know our pursuit policy is pretty strenuous. You know, it's good. I just looked at the situation down, and I don't know if y'all heard in Rankin County down there, they had these situations occur where 2 people were killed. And I just want to make sure our pursuit policy is pretty tight where we know when to terminate, in other words.
Yes, it's built in. Not only can the supervisor terminate a pursuit, but the officer can terminate it himself based on safety factors, road conditions, time of day, where it's going to. And before an officer can pursue, they have to get permission from the supervisor to be able to pursue. So there's built-in catches in that.
Okay. And I know it's countdown. I just want to know if there's any changes or anything that you want to talk to us about. Are you gonna leave it to the new chief or anything? I know this is probably your last run.
Well, I got one more board meeting. The light at the end of the tunnel was growing a lot brighter. Looking forward.
Okay, we'll leave it there then.
Just want y'all to know, and I've already told Dudley that would want to ask me or need me to do, just feel free to give me a call. I'm always available. The city's been good to me and I want to continue to help serve the city.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Buster.
I had one thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I had one thing I want to mention. I received 2 to 3 calls about West Lawn Cemetery. What's happening now? People are going in and vandalizing it very bad. They are breaking some of the tombstone.
I thought it was locked up.
It's not locked. That's what I wanted to ask him to, if he could, you kind of reassure us that the cemetery will be locked up at a certain time and closed at a certain time. I remember mentioning that, I think it was 6 o'clock that an officer was somewhere around there and closed it.
It's been dark as we were, because people were saying that, they couldn't get off work. I mean, after they got off work, they wanted to have time to go by. I thought the board said.
I thought we said
dusk, right before dusk.
I thought 9 or dusk or something too. But we do have gates there.
The gate.
Yeah.
Cemetery.
We definitely need to, see if we can kind of control that a little better because they are vandalizing something.
Taken care of.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Dudley, you have anything you want to say?
No, sir. Board supervisors are going in October to inline supervisor training.
Okay.
It's a 3-day training. After that, the next 4 will go.
Good deal.
Where is it held?
South Haven.
South Haven, okay.
Thank you, Dudley. Greg?
Yes, sir. I don't have anything other than, you have a report about a meeting with Jamie Rutledge, which are still trying to get that fire station acquisition, and Danny can, probably explain a little more about that. I think he's, been contacting Jamie back and forth via email, and it's, in the legal hands now. So, the other thing is fire prevention starts in October. So this, the first year in a couple of years, I'm able to go into all the schools. I'm excited about that. I've got my materials in. I'll be handing those out to the schools here in the next few weeks. So, y'all see the little fire hats running around town here, pretty soon. Excited about that.
I think Brian's daddy gave me one. You want me to explain that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, here's the gist of this. Years ago, when the airport fire station, which I think we call that a fire station 4, am I right, Greg?
3.
When the fire station, there were some state funds that went in with that. And so it's actually titled in Delta State's name. And so one of the things that Greg has been discussing with DSU, we can maintain it better. We can insure it better so the process for doing that, Jamie has sent to me by email this past week. And what we're going to do is a resolution from the mayor requesting it. And then we will need to get a couple of our legislative delegations to usher us through local and private. I'm sure we can get I guess
You, Rob.
Poverty stopping.
I don't need I need a local and private. If I could get you and Senator Simmons to sign off as my sponsors, and then the college board will approve it, and then finally Delta State will deed that to the city. And that,
Paid for it.
yes,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just
And maintain it.
it's just going through the red tape, and we know what the
A hell of a lot more.
I'm sure you have highlights.
$500,000.
yeah. Oh yeah, I got it.
We have an MOU on that.
Their levels are different.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it burns.
Put in 500.
We have to do to it. We have to get it.
David.
Even though we got a special award from the legislature.
Yeah,
Bond issue, David Norman's.
Yeah, David did it.
David did it. Yeah.
David did it, and he got us $500,000, and we spent another 1.3 building it.
And it's on their land, but we
No,
Paul's
on our-
rolling.
Well, yeah.
It's on our land.
Property.
Yeah.
They just, don't you remember, they had the Department of
HL.
Building, what do you call, what's that department called? Anyway.
Okay, time out. We never conveyed that property to them.
I don't know.
We own the building.
That's what I thought.
No, we own the property, not the building.
We did an MOU. I think I wrote it or helped write it. This was in 09.
Hilbert was here, I think.
09. Jamie Jacks was our attorney, and we entered into this agreement where we gave them the control through the building commission.
Remember, it cost so much because we had to use their
It was
guidelines.
the building, the Bureau of Buildings
Yeah.
of IHL had to use their architects. That's the
Right.
reason why we had to.
They got the 500 came to them.
Yeah,
You remember?
yeah.
Through IHL bond money.
And then the 1.3 came from us.
And then we paid the rest but we have title to that building.
I thought so too.
I can send you the MOU and the documentation, and then if
You
you
got
want to tweak it.
there is a deed that we conveyed.
I've got the MOU. I don't know.
I
if
don't
there's a
think
deed.
there's a
I think
deed.
there's a deed. But anyway, the process Jamie's given us that we need to go through with them is going to involve a resolution.
I'll never forget that. We worked really hard to get that 500. We got a lot of resistance on that. We managed to get it.
Right.
We got the money and we built it. So but we'll work it out. I mean,
I'll send y'all all copies.
Okay. All right, Greg.
Alderman Wentz has a question for Chief Bingham.
Oh, okay, let's back up then. Ms. Wentz?
Yes, hey, Chief.
Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
for what you're doing. Trying to find out where we were with those, for those.
The poles that we had ordered, they weren't stable or sturdy, and the cameras were waving. So we're trying to get that. Hopefully, the repairs that we're making will be done this week, and we should be able to get those up. That's all the problem. We put the poles up, but they're not sturdy or stable. And we talked with the engineering department about it. We tried filling them up with tea gravel and sand, and it didn't work. They were still wavering in the wind. But we've got some modifications being done to try to make sure that when we put them up, they will be sturdy and stable. So hopefully that will be done this week, the latest next week.
All right, thank you. I know you're very creative, so I appreciate what you're doing.
Thank you, ma'am.
See, do we have any of that area down there what we talked about yesterday with that situation, that period right there?
No, not particularly in that particular area. We
Okay.
got some close, but it's not on that block.
Any more questions for Greg? Okay, if not, we'll go to Jamie.
Good evening. You have my report. I would let everybody know we do have a new animal control officer since Officer Ribbles had to resign due to medical issues. Jeremy Melvin's our new animal control officer. So if you see a young man out and about that you don't recognize his face, that's him, and he's doing a terrific job. We also are moving into phase 3 with construction. So we are emptying the front of the shelter and moving into the renovated part of the back of the shelter. So the front of the shelter will not be accessible to the public in about a week or so. We do have a sign on the front door, and we have a chalkboard sign for the sidewalk so people to see how to get into the building. We also put doorbells on so we won't miss anybody, but we are going to be in the final phase of construction in about a week and a half or 2 weeks.
Any questions, Jamie? Okay, thank you. Hunter?
Y'all have my report. I don't have anything unless y'all have something for me.
Any questions of Hunter? Good job. All right, Steve-O?
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have anything outside my report, but one thing is we got the VACON up running, and we've had a guy training for the last 2 weeks on it, and they run all week last week on North Street and behind the Cotton House and North Christmas. So we're trying to take care of this flooding we're having, but other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. All right, questions of Steve-O? Okay.
Yes, I have.
Okay, go ahead, Zena.
Steve-O, how often does a person go around to checking the street lights? Because I have some areas over there in my ward, over there on North Street. The light is flickering, and some areas the lights are not on the poles. They're not working at all. So
Yes,
now
ma'am.
I understand that you have a guy that goes around to tell what the outages are.
Yes, ma'am. He tags them every month, and then he does a report, and then we send them in to Energy and Delta Electric right before the board meeting. I hadn't got that report. I'll have that report tomorrow.
Yeah, they generally run 3 or 4 months behind, and I've talked to them more fingers than I got on both hands. And it just takes them 3 or 4 months, and I don't know.
We need to turn them in to Steve-O. We need to let him know where they are, because sometimes it's hard for his guys are riding around in the day, not in the nighttime.
Right.
So if we see streetlights that are out, I've sent them a list, like when Ray Bell was there, I used to send Ray a list, tell him where the lights were out.
And I did email Connie that list because Brandy was out today. So I emailed those that Alderman Wentz is speaking of. I emailed those to her today.
Yes, ma'am.
So she has those.
Be sure to send the addresses.
Yeah, and Gary, I'm glad you said that, because at one time we had police officers do that, and that really takes away from their duties. Thank you.
One interesting thing, Board of Aldermen in Indianola have gone 3 or 4 months without energy changing, so they withheld payment to energy, and they got quick results.
Sure, I'm sure. Without a doubt.
That Paul here, I don't know, we do that quite often.
Is that legal? Is that possible?
I don't believe we better do that, Miss Amy.
I was against.
When you pick a fight, you
I
need to
was just,
be
you know, I
50-50.
was,
We'd have a
Right.
short end of the stick on that.
Not a suggestion, I'm sorry.
No, we need to help.
I do
think-
believe,
Right, we need them more than they need us, I think. Okay, all right, but we will
right,
get
but,
on
but we
that.
have some areas but we have some real areas that's really, really dark. And especially where our cameras are, where one of our cameras is, and if we have an incident, we're not gonna see anything because it's dark there.
Yes, ma'am.
Night vision, aren't they?
Because every time you call her, she puts it.
Okay, all right, so where were we here?
You go.
Okay, so Clint,
Good evening, Mayor. I don't have anything else outside of my report unless anybody's got any questions of me.
Good gracious alive.
that's a first.
Yeah.
Okay,
A little
like you're
while.
doing a good job. Okay,
Jason is not here tonight. He's having to, they have a shortage of coaches and he's having to help coach on
Okay.
games.
okay. Well, they're doing, I think, this,
He's got some tournaments coming up.
yeah, this department had a meeting this morning. He has more signed up for
That's right.
fall baseball than ever, and he's got a big soccer tournament this Saturday.
Yeah.
So they've got lots going on. Okay, Dominique?
Everybody.
Hey, Razorback.
So let's see, we got a few items tonight. Number 2 on the list, we need to approve the ad valorem tax levy for 2022.
So move.
Robert, Danny, all in favor, say aye. Okay,
All right, the board has been requested to reappoint Becky Now and Murtis Tab to the Chamber Tourism Committee.
Move. Second.
Brian and Gary, all in favor, say aye.
I'll skip number 4, we'll come back to it. The number 5, we just have a change order that will hit our contingency, so we're not adding any extra money, but we need a change order for the animal shelter to be approved.
So move.
All right, Ted, Brian, all in favor, say aye. Okay,
All right, so back to number 4, you guys tasked the mayor with reaching out to Arrow to see what it would look like if we're able to take over the limb pickup. And so there are a few letters in your packet in the city clerk folder that discusses that. Essentially, if in fact the city took it over, that would save us $62,000 out of our contract with them. It's like 62.9. And so the question is whether you guys want to proceed. Keep in mind, though, that we have a CPI adjustment that comes, no ma'am, not right now. I'm on a meeting. I'm in a meeting. Please leave. Please, I'm in a meeting, please leave. Thank you. And so that's not a yes. So the CPI adjustment, the rate minus the $1.35 that we would be saving would go up a little bit. So just keep that in mind. We won't know that until October. Okay, but with that being said, that 62.9 savings will be cut into a little bit. So just keep that in mind.
Dominique, the CPI is calculated on the entire payment.
Yes.
Okay, so if we reduce that entire payment right now, regardless of what their percentage is, it's going to be smaller. If we wait to do it after the fact, we're going to build a bigger raise than we anticipate.
Right.
Right. CPI adjustment will be based on the new rate.
Exactly.
minus the
So if we're
135.
going to do this, we need to make this adjustment now. That way their upward adjustment will be based on a smaller number.
okay. So,
I make a motion, we do it.
okay, because the lease idea is a good idea.
And is Steve-O still available?
Yes, he's on the
Yes,
call. I
sir.
think he's muted.
I'm here.
Steve-O, are you comfortable with us running the second boom truck?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I have a,
You're gonna have to get real comfortable because it's gonna be a big job.
I have a question.
Yes, sir, Kirk.
With respect to when we go to our own pickup of limbs, et cetera, we have, and many people do, they bag their leaves and put them out.
They're leaving that in the
They're
contract.
leaving that in there.
Okay.
We work pretty.
I don't think the boom truck can pick those up.
No, they can't.
They're leaving that in the contract.
Okay.
We just limbs. I mean, we made it very clear.
It's just limbs, just limbs.
Gotcha. All right.
If you have a sack of leaves by your garbage, they're gonna pick that up.
Yeah, I mean, if we can do it, I mean, that's $700,000+ savings to us. Is it 60 a month? No, a year.
Yeah,
A year. It still gives us enough money to justify leasing.
Leasing the other.
Yeah.
But Steve-O, the pressure is gonna, you know how these wind events we get around here, and we're gonna have a bunch of rules too, similar to what they had. I mean, it's not just wide open like everybody wants it and expects it.
That's right. Yes, sir.
So
I think the same rules all apply.
I think so too. I mean,
Okay, if Steve-O's okay, then I make a motion that we make an adjustment with Arrow.
Okay. You made a motion. Danny
We need
second.
to include in there that we're gonna follow the same guidelines.
I think we should
There's
tweak
something
those.
in here said that.
I think we should tweak those just a little bit.
Okay.
Just based on capacity and size. Definitely, we're
Yeah.
not picking up contractor cutting.
Well, I changed
Keep
my
that.
motion to say that we, however we present it to them, we make sure they understand the limb contract.
Right.
Second.
Okay, Danny second. All in favor, say aye. You opposed? Okay. Those folks are doing an unbelievable job.
This wouldn't call any additional employees to help pick up the limbs or anything. I wanna, since we've been, short of employees, would that have a bearing,
Well,
right?
that's why I asked him, could he handle it? That's the reason why I asked the question before I made the
I
motion.
think we in good shape. We can always fill those,
They did much better. We did much better on limbs than they ever thought about doing.
Yeah.
And thank you for handling that.
Well, and we paid these other vendors when we had those bigger. So I think we're making a good move here. If Steve,
Well, not to mention, I called you about a week ago, one of the guys that pick up commercially sent a notice to all their customers, like the churches, that they were no longer picking up limbs at these churches and stuff. See, because Arrow doesn't do them. It's like Waste Management.
they don't do downtown, do they, Dan?
So it'll give us the opportunity to clean that mess up too. It was Emmanuel Baptist on Maple. They had limbs that been sitting out there for 3 weeks.
I'm sure we'll get to visit with them then.
Yeah.
Okay. Dominique, what else?
That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Michelle?
Anything.
Okay. Michelle's doing really good too, y'all, I'm telling you.
This airport was a 99-year lease. That's why we do the procedure.
Okay, all right. Okay. Heather?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Mayor, if I may add one thing to my report, since I have
Okay,
all the
sure.
department heads. As required by our cyber liability, we've got to implement on all of our city email a multi-factor authorization. So I'm going to do this by department, and I'll be sure that every department head knows this process and that can help me answer questions with our employees. So you'll see that coming along. I hope to have this done by the end of this week. If not, definitely by the end of next week. And then the second thing is I have the employee action recommendations tonight. Asking for approval unless you have any questions.
So moved.
Second. Okay. Robert, Danny, all in favor, say aye.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Okay. Robert?
Yeah, and thing I just want to say to the police department, congratulations, gentlemen, on the job well done that you're doing. And I know it will continue. So thank you.
Kurt?
Good, thank you.
Okay. Zana?
I wanted to say that those that put the gospel music extravaganza on this weekend was
Right.
great. So hats off and kudos to them.
I heard it was good.
Yeah.
Okay, Ted?
I don't have anything else.
Gary? Danny? Ryan?
Do we have anything in executive session?
Do we have anything?
Anything?
Okay.
I move we adjourn, Mr.
Recess.
Pat?
Recess.
Sure, you may ask a question.
This was for, I just moved in and I'm living right now in Grover
Right.
condo. And not every night, but frequently at night, we get a smell coming from outside and I've been walked outside of something burning.
Where? It's,
Right here at the condo.
Is it the fields that like Sunday night, Saturday and Sunday when they're burning
Smells like
fields?
Cardboard or paper or waste products. I didn't know if there was any.
There was also Cleveland last couple.
Probably burning fields like rice fields.
Could be fields.
Yeah.
Are you, how
Now, the chamber meeting today, it took your breath away.
Yeah, but
It's the fields around it.
They burn rice
Kind of
fields.
smell like
I've
carpet.
been worried about it.
Kurt.
Recess.
No. This is a recess until Kurt and Ted, until 8:30 next Tuesday, the 13th.
Right,
And it'll be a quickie.
that's right.
13.
Zoom.
Yes, that's it.
All in favor, say aye. Thank you for being with us.
Bill, thank you. All right, gentlemen, enjoy it.
Great night, guys.
Take care of it. I'm gonna be gone again this week.
Hey, y'all, don't forget about the banquet next week
He's still
too.
looking over there.
What's that?
Don't give up on him. I believe, Darren, give up.
We give up.
His next job is gonna be a preacher.
Something.
You thought about it?
He's about half one already now.
Thought about it.
See you, buddy.
Heck, yeah. How you come to find it? You need hate.
If you didn't know, if I